Family of Nolan Wells reveals new evidence in their investigation into how he died. Wells was only 18 years old when he disappeared during a 4th of July boating trip with friends off the coast of Mississippi's Horn Island. Days later, his body was found in the water off the Gulf Coast, leading the family to commission a separate autopsy. Minutes ago, the family's attorney, Ben Crump, announced that his team has hired oceanic experts and that investigators will also analyze audio tapes connected to the case.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just actually got off the phone with his grandpa, who I'm guessing is the owner of the boat. And he said,
Okay.
I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now, but if something changes, he'll call me back. So I'm guessing that they may have figured it out, because that's what he said. So they're in a panic and they're
The 4th of July was supposed to end with laughter, fireworks, and memories that would last a lifetime. Instead, it ended with questions that have refused to disappear. On a quiet stretch of Mississippi's Horn Island, 18-year-old Nolan Wells vanished after spending the day with friends. Hours later, a frantic marine assistance call was placed from a boat leaving the island. At first, it sounded like nothing more than another emergency involving mechanical trouble. But when authorities later released the recording, listeners across the country began focusing on something else entirely. The voices in the background. At first, they were little more than muffled sounds buried beneath static, wind, and overlapping conversations. Then online users began slowing the recording down. Others amplified it. Different versions spread across social media, each claiming to reveal something more disturbing than the last. Some insisted the recording captured Nolan's final moments. Others believed it proved nothing at all. The internet became divided between those convinced they had heard the truth and those warning that damaged audio can easily deceive the human ear. Now, Nolan's family's attorney has announced that trained forensic audio experts will examine the original recording, not the altered version circulating online. According to the family's legal team, identifying exactly who is speaking and what is actually being said could become one of the most important pieces of the investigation. Experts have cautioned that only professional analysis of the original, uncompressed recording can reliably identify voices or clarify indistinct words. The recording has transformed from a simple distress call into one of the most scrutinized pieces of evidence in the case. For Nolan's family, the questions remain painfully simple. Why was he left behind? Why did accounts from people on the island appear to conflict? And if someone recognizes the voices captured on that recording, could they finally explain what happened during those final hours? The family's attorney has continued to call for a broader investigation and further review of digital evidence, while emphasizing that the case remains active. Authorities have not announced any criminal charges, and Nolan's official cause of death has not been publicly finalized. Every second of that audio has now become part of a larger mystery. Some listeners believe they hear fear. Others hear confusion. Some hear nothing conclusive at all. But somewhere inside those few chaotic moments may lie the answer to a question that has haunted Nolan Wells' family since the day he disappeared. As investigators continue searching for facts instead of rumors, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. This story is no longer just about a missing teenager. It is about whether the truth has been hiding in plain hearing all along. Before we uncover the latest developments surrounding the leaked audio and why investigators believe voice identification could be a turning point, we need to understand who Nolan Wells was and why his disappearance has shaken an entire community. If you're new to Cold Case Files, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest true crime investigations. Nolan Wells was remembered by family and friends as a young man with his future still unfolding. He was known for enjoying time outdoors, spending time on the water, and making memories with the people closest to him. Like many teenagers, he looked forward to holidays with friends, never imagining that an ordinary summer outing would become the center of a nationwide mystery. Those who knew him have described the days before the trip as normal, with nothing suggesting that tragedy was about to strike. The 4th of July gathering on Horn Island was intended to be a celebration. Friends traveled together, expecting a day filled with boating, swimming, and fireworks. As daylight faded, however, the atmosphere reportedly changed. Conflicting recollections of the evening would later emerge, making it increasingly difficult for investigators and the public to establish a clear timeline of what happened during Nolan's final known hours. Those unanswered questions have remained at the heart of the investigation ever since. As public attention intensified, Nolan's family refused to let the case fade from the headlines. Through their attorney, they continued calling for a thorough investigation, independent review of evidence, and transparency from officials. The leaked audio recording only increased public interest, but experts have cautioned that online interpretation should not be treated as fact until forensic analysis is complete. Even with countless theories circulating online, the family's focus has remained on finding verified answers rather than speculation. Before we continue, if you appreciate carefully researched true crime stories that separate fact from rumor, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Cold Case Files, and turn on notifications. Your support helps us continue covering cases that deserve attention as we move deeper into the mystery surrounding Nolan Wells. As investigators worked to piece together Nolan Wells' final hours, they faced a familiar challenge in many complex cases, separating verified facts from conflicting accounts. In the aftermath of the incident, details shared by people who had been on Horn Island did not always align. Differences in timelines, recollections of where individuals had been, and descriptions of key moments created uncertainty. While inconsistencies alone do not prove wrongdoing, they often become an important focus for investigators attempting to reconstruct the sequence of events. Public attention soon shifted to the leaked marine assistance audio. Across social media, countless users claimed they could hear names, cries for help, or conversations hidden beneath the background noise. Audio clips were slowed down, enhanced, and edited repeatedly, with each version fueling a new wave of speculation. However, forensic audio specialists have long warned that heavily compressed or altered recordings can cause listeners to hear words that are not actually present, a psychological effect known as auditory pareidolia. Because of this, investigators and independent experts have emphasized that only the original recording can be reliably analyzed for voice identification or clarification. At the same time, Nolan's family continued urging authorities to examine every available piece of evidence, including digital records, witness statements, and the original audio. Their attorney maintained that every lead deserved careful review, while also encouraging the public not to confuse internet theories with confirmed facts. As pressure mounted, the investigation remained active, with many questions still unanswered, and no official conclusion regarding exactly what occurred during Nolan's final moments. With each passing day, one thing became increasingly clear. The mystery was no longer defined only by what investigators knew, but also by what they had yet to prove. The search for Nolan Wells quickly transformed into a painstaking effort to reconstruct a day that had ended in tragedy. Investigators began examining the known timeline, comparing witness statements with available evidence to determine exactly what had happened on Horn Island. Every reported movement, every phone call, and every minute leading up to Nolan's disappearance became part of a larger puzzle. Authorities confirmed that Nolan had been with a group on the island before he was later reported missing. Search teams from multiple agencies worked across the surrounding waters, using boats and aircraft to locate him. The operation ended in heartbreak when Nolan's body was recovered. Even then, however, the recovery did not bring the certainty his family had hoped for. Instead, It marked the beginning of an investigation focused on understanding how the tragedy unfolded. As investigators continued their work, public speculation intensified. Online discussions often pointed to alleged confrontations, hidden motives, or criminal acts. It is important to note that these claims have not been substantiated by official findings. Law enforcement has not publicly confirmed that Nolan was the victim of a homicide, nor have they announced criminal charges connected to his death. Because of that, many of the theories circulating online remain exactly that, unverified theories. Rather than relying on speculation, investigators have continued reviewing physical evidence, digital information, and witness interviews in an effort to establish a factual timeline. Nolan's family has consistently supported that approach, urging anyone with credible information to come forward while asking the public to avoid spreading rumors that could complicate the investigation. For those closest to Nolan, the greatest challenge has been living with uncertainty. The answers they seek have not yet been fully revealed, leaving a community waiting for the evidence, not speculation, to tell the story of what truly happened that day. As weeks turned into months, the investigation entered a quieter but no less important phase. While public attention centered on the leaked audio, investigators continued reviewing evidence behind the scenes. According to public reporting, Nolan Wells' family, through their attorney, continued urging authorities to conduct a thorough and transparent investigation. Their focus remained on establishing a complete timeline using verified evidence rather than internet speculation. Among the pieces of evidence receiving the most attention was the original Marine assistance recording. Unlike the edited clips circulating online, the original file could potentially provide investigators with clearer audio, allowing forensic specialists to determine who was speaking and whether any voices can be reliably identified. Experts have repeatedly cautioned that altered recordings shared on social media should not be treated as conclusive evidence, as background noise, compression, and editing can distort what listeners believe they hear. Investigators have also continued examining witness statements, digital evidence, and any available electronic records that may help clarify Nolan's final hours. In cases like this, even small details, such as phone activity, photographs, timestamps, or location data, can help investigators either confirm or challenge portions of the timeline. However, authorities have not publicly disclosed the full scope of the evidence they are reviewing, and no criminal charges have been announced. For Nolan's family, every day without definitive answers has been another painful reminder that the investigation is still ongoing. They have consistently asked the public to support the search for truth while avoiding the spread of unverified claims that could complicate the case. If you're finding this investigation informative, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Cold Case Files, and turn on notifications. Your support helps us continue covering unresolved cases with a commitment to facts over speculation. As the investigation continued, one reality became impossible to ignore. There was still no courtroom, no verdict, and no official explanation that answered every question surrounding Nolan Wells' death. Unlike many true crime cases that eventually reach a trial, this investigation remained active, with authorities continuing to review evidence before determining whether any criminal conduct had occurred. That uncertainty has left the public searching for answers, while investigators have emphasized the importance of following the evidence wherever it leads. Witness accounts, digital records, and forensic examinations remain central to understanding Nolan's final hours. Each piece of information must be carefully evaluated, not in isolation, but alongside the rest of the evidence to build an accurate timeline. The absence of criminal charges has also fueled widespread speculation online. Numerous theories have circulated across social media, with some attempting to identify suspects or assign blame. However, none of those claims have been confirmed by law enforcement. In any ongoing investigation, prematurely reaching conclusions can not only mislead the public, but also complicate the work of investigators and unfairly affect those involved. For Nolan's family, the legal process has taken a different form. Rather than watching a trial unfold, they have continued working with their attorney to advocate for a comprehensive investigation and for every credible lead to be fully examined. Their message has remained consistent. They want the truth, wherever it leads, and they want any conclusions to be based on verified evidence rather than rumor. Until investigators announce their findings, the case remains defined by unanswered questions instead of courtroom decisions. Whether future forensic analysis, additional witness testimony, or new evidence provides those answers remains unknown. For now, the pursuit of justice continues, not inside a courtroom, but through the careful work of an investigation that is still searching for the truth. For Nolan Wells' family, the passage of time has not lessened the pain of losing someone they loved. Every holiday, every family gathering, and every milestone serves as a reminder of the young man whose future was cut short. While investigators continue their work, Nolan's loved ones have remained determined to keep his name in the public eye, hoping that renewed attention will eventually lead to the answers they have sought since the day he disappeared. Through public statements and the support of their attorney, the family has continued to ask for patience, transparency, and a thorough investigation. Their focus has never been on fueling online speculation, but on ensuring that every credible lead is examined and that no piece of evidence is overlooked. They have repeatedly emphasized that the truth matters more than rumors, regardless of where that truth ultimately leads. The case has also deeply affected the surrounding community. What began as a summer outing has become a lasting reminder of how quickly lives can change. Many people have followed the investigation closely, hoping for clarity and accountability. At the same time, the spread of unverified claims on social media has created confusion, making it even more important to distinguish confirmed facts from speculation. Despite the uncertainty, one thing has remained constant. Nolan's memory continues to inspire those seeking justice on his behalf. Friends, supporters, and members of the community have refused to let the case fade from public attention. They believe that continued awareness may encourage new witnesses to come forward or help investigators uncover the missing piece of the puzzle. For Nolan's family, justice is not about satisfying public curiosity. It is about discovering what truly happened, honoring his memory with the truth, and finally finding the piece that has remained just out of reach since that tragic day. The mystery surrounding Nolan Wells remains unfinished. Despite months of investigation, countless hours of analysis, and intense public interest, the most important questions have yet to receive definitive answers. Investigators continue to examine the available evidence, while Nolan's family continues to hope that every lead, no matter how small, is pursued until the truth is uncovered. One lesson stands out from this case above all others. Speculation can travel faster than facts. The leaked audio sparked endless debate, but professional investigators must rely on forensic analysis, verified evidence, and credible witness testimony, not assumptions formed from edited clips shared online. Until authorities release official findings, many of the claims circulating on social media remain exactly that, unverified claims. For Nolan's loved ones, the search has never been about winning an argument on the internet. It has always been about understanding what happened during his final hours and ensuring that, if anyone is responsible for a crime, they are held accountable through the justice system. If the investigation ultimately shows that no crime occurred, they deserve that certainty as well. What every family deserves is the truth. Cases like Nolan's remind us that behind every headline is a real person whose life mattered, and a family forever changed by loss. Whether new forensic evidence, additional witnesses, or future investigative developments provide long-awaited answers remains to be seen. Until then, Nolan Wells' story remains one of the most closely watched unresolved investigations. What do you think is the missing piece investigators still need to uncover? And do you believe the answers are already hidden somewhere within the evidence? If you found this investigation thoughtful and respectful, please like this video, share it with others, subscribe to Cold Case Files, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest true crime documentaries. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay curious, but always let the facts lead the way.